Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
General advice disclaimer. The information provided is general in nature and does not take into account your personal objectives, financial situation, or needs. Before acting on any information, you should consider whether it is appropriate for your circumstances and seek professional advice from a licensed financial advisor. While every effort has been made to ensure the accuracy of the information, it is not guaranteed. It is based on our understanding of regulations and laws as at the publication date. As these are subject to change, you should talk to a professional advisor for the most up-to-date information. Any examples or illustrations provided are for illustrative purposes only and are not a guarantee of future performance. We do not accept any liability for any loss or damage incurred by reliance on the information provided. Any opinions expressed are subject to change without notice. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and all investments carry risks. Neither the host, guests, nor any affiliated entities accept liability for any loss or damage arising from reliance on the information provided. By listening to this podcast and viewing this presentation, you acknowledge and agree to these terms.
Hey, good morning, team. I hope everyone's doing well. It must be Thursdays because it's me, Alex, on Financial Planning Thursdays. I hope everyone is having a strong end to the week. So one more day to go. So I'll dive straight into it, guys. Something I've been chatting about quite a bit with my clients over the last several months, and something that typically we don't talk about enough, and something that perhaps needs to be front of mind, and that is budgeting. Right. So budgeting is something that, sounds like a word that you put on your fridge and then it kind of disappears behind all of the other things that might end up on the same fridge. So what I tend to see, and the first question I get asked when I speak to new clients or existing clients of ours is that, hey, listen, it's all great. We went through the strategy. We've done, a roadmap to how to get there. But how does it actually work in practice? How do we get there financially, right? And I always say that, you have to start somewhere, right? Consistency is key. So in some instances, you might not be able to do everything, but if you start little by little, you can grow that over time. And with budgeting, when I see a new client, they always kind of come in and say, well, I don't have any spare funds, or unless they get an inheritance or they're doing quite well, then I would say, all right, well, let's have a look through your expenses. Let's have a look at your income, and this is where we tend to uncover, the gaps in the story that typically us humans can make up, and then sort of try to follow them, right? Because typically, humans are, we're like luxury over time. And as a result, we tend to find any excuse to go out and spend. And if you don't believe me, think about the journey that you might have been on, or you are on now with your work, right? So you might have started in a graduate position or in trade, and then, low wages. And as your wages go up, right, look back 10 years from where you are now to back 10 years, and look at the gap in your income, right? So I know that, you might say, look, I have a mortgage, and, I might have a family. That's all great. And, that's all part of the journey. However, the gap between where you started to where you are now should reflect the journey of, hey, the more I earn, the more I spend. That's just by nature, right? So what I tend to say to the clients is, yep, that's great. I can see that, we're neutral in the cash flow. So let's start to look at how can we pay ourselves first, right? And when I say that, a lot of people get confused. Like, what do you mean pay myself first? Well, what I mean by that is essentially having a strategy in place that takes away funds. So let's just say you get paid $5,000 a fortnight, or let's just say a month, $5,000 a month, right? You might have an allowance going to, home loan repayment. And then from there, you might have other expenses. But if you also have another allowance for a small investment of any sort, like whether that's a share portfolio or building out your term deposit or cash saving. So that way, you're always allowing that expense to be taken into account across your cash flow, right? And then there's no excuse, because whatever is left over then is essentially there for you to spend until the next pay packet. And if you do that consistently, you would essentially get to the point where what that allowance was, it's going to grow, and then it will allow you to do other things with it. So consistency is key, and you don't have to start with $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. You could start as little as $100 or even $50 a week, a fortnight, whatever it might be. As long as you start, you will find your way that over time you are able to increase that allocation to that investment, just as you grow in your income, as things accelerate. So, and then that becomes one of the vehicles that you could utilize for your investment strategy. So the other part of this is also sometimes is possible, sometimes isn't, but it's about delayed gratification, right? So it's about setting the goal in place and moving towards it, knowing that, hey, maybe for now, for the next 12 months, I might not be able to do certain things, but the reason for that is because I'm trying to build out my position. So all that is great. We can talk about it. We can put it in a plan. We can have a target, but ultimately you have to be consistent, right? Consistency is number one thing in budgeting. If you spreadsheets, everything, that's great, amazing. If you've got a running spreadsheet of your expenses, of your income, of your investments, that's great. But unless you're consistent and unless you have things set up in the background that you don't have to think about on a daily basis, then it's not going to work. So you want to have those mechanisms set up. You want to pay yourself first. You get that pay. You put money into the investment. $100, $50, couple of $100, whatever it might be. It's out of your mind. It's already doing its thing, right? it could become your little cash saving buffer as well if that's what you aim to do. But ultimately, consistently doing it and trying to meet that objective every single time without finding an excuse. Had to do this, had to do that, therefore couldn't put that in there. But if you've got that automation, then you can actually you'll be surprised how quickly things can change, right? And doing this with my clients that have that objective, we can see very big results, especially if if you've got a cash account. It's probably a little bit difficult to see the full motion, but I've got a few clients that are engaged into a share portfolio and they're building that out. And given that the markets have been relatively strong over the last couple of years, they can see the benefit of that in the shorter term. Typically, I don't use that as a benchmark, but given how strong the markets have been with double-digit returns on annual basis, it's been quite remarkable to see the progress and how quickly they can build that out and use that for themselves, or even use that in the future. There's different ways, right? There's, like I said, cash, shares. You can do it within different structures as well, but potentially if you're starting out small, you wouldn't do that. But depending on your position, you might be looking at that as well for future cash flow distribution. Look, I just wanted to really jump on here, just talk about this budgeting sort of little hack, just so you guys can get on top of it. We're coming up to Christmas. I know everyone is spending quite a bit on different presents, this and that, so there's always an excuse. But if you set up even a small amount to put away, invest, you will see a benefit of that in a couple of years' time through consistency and also accumulation of those funds too. So, look, guys, nice and sweet and short. So I hope you enjoy your week. And there's only a couple of weeks to go. Well, sort of 5 weeks to go to Christmas. So keep on top of everything, and I'll catch you next Thursday. Bye-bye.
General advice disclaimer.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6 Star team here at positivementor.com.au.